Today I wanted to talk to you about 5 mistakes Joe and I made when we moved here to the UK. Number 1, not learning to drive stick before we moved here. In the US, most people's cars are automatics. It's very rare for people to first start driving with a stick shift instead of an automatic. Here in the UK, however, and majority of Europe, manual is the most common type of car to drive. For that reason, when you come over here and you rent a car, you're going to pay probably double for an automatic than you would a manual. Luckily, one of Joe's ex-girlfriends taught him the very basics of driving a stick, and he had done it on about 3 occasions before we moved here. It was a good 8 years or so, I think he said, since he had driven stick, but he was determined to pick it up again, and he did, which is great. Myself, however, I had asked a few people to teach me how to drive stick and nobody did, so I never learned. And then when we moved here, I was really nervous to try it out with a car that we were renting because I was terrified that I was going to destroy it somehow. Recently, however, one of our friends lent her car to us to use to get to a Scottish wedding. So when we were in this parking lot waiting for the wedding to start, Joe actually was very forward about the fact that he was finally going to teach me. It took a lot of stalling, but I ended up getting the hang of it, and even though the parking lot was small, I was able to get into second gear, and I just kept going around and around in a circle, practicing starting, shifting into first, shifting out of first, and so on and so forth. I kind of learned how to drive stick now. Mistake number 2. Getting monthly bus passes straight away. This is the second transportation associated mistake that we made. Edinburgh has an amazing bus system and public transportation. Europe's public transportation in general is phenomenally better than in the US. When we moved here, we assumed that we would be taking the bus all the time. So we both got monthly bus passes, and we just were in the mindset that that was going to be the most financially beneficial and frugal thing to do. It took a couple of weeks, but we realized that Joe preferred walking everywhere. Joe ended up getting a job very close to our flat here, so he ended up just having to walk about 2 blocks to his work and therefore didn't use the bus pass for that. I use my bus pass a lot more because I use it to go to uni, to my classes back and forth, and then I also use it to go back and forth to work. But depending on the trimester, it actually may have made more sense for me to have day passes on the days where I'm going to uni and work, and then on the days where I'm not using the bus, just not having anything at all. For a student, it's 40 quid each month to have a bus pass, and that's unlimited rides on the public transportations. That also includes the tram and the night buses. Mistake number 3, not registering with a local doctor straight away. I want to do an entire video about going to the doctor here in Scotland and the national healthcare system, but that's going to be a whole separate video. But basically, in Scotland, when you move to a new place, you're supposed to fill out paperwork and register with a general practitioner, your main doctor. Joe and I were a bit caught up in all the other things that we had to do, and especially flat hunting here was very difficult, and it's incredibly competitive. So we should have registered with the doctor right away, but we ended up waiting until I got sick and needed to go to the doctor. Our local practice, the way that they handle new requests is you have to apply on a Tuesday, and then it takes them a minimum of 48 hours to register you there. Luckily, after that period was up, I was able to get a doctor's appointment either that day or the next day, I don't recall exactly, but relatively quickly. A friend from work made the exact same mistake that I did though. So when you get to Scotland, make it on your list to register with a doctor straight away. As soon as you're registered, it's very easy and it's an amazing process, and you don't pay anything, nothing for prescriptions, for your doctor's appointment, to see specialists, to get stitches, to get x-rays, none of it. It's amazing. So as soon as you get here, register with the doctor. Oh, I want to make a Doctor Who joke so bad, but I won't. Mistake number 4. This was not my mistake. I want to just say that straight away. This was a mistake that Joe made, but it was definitely an easy mistake to make. Even though Scotland speaks English just like the US, they have a lot of different words for the same things that we have in both countries. So for example, a shopping cart here is a trolley, or a stroller is a pram. Band-aids are plasters. There's a lot of different things that we thought we would know and we just don't. It's like a whole nother language. And that's not even getting into the Scottish slang, which is a whole nother video. After we got our new flat, Joe went out to buy some laundry detergent. In the US, we mostly use liquid laundry detergent. However, we found that here in the UK, they use mostly powdered laundry detergent. Because Joe was looking for liquid laundry detergent, he ended up seeing laundry conditioner. Now, in retrospect, hindsight being 2020, we know that laundry conditioner is laundry softener, and that makes total sense. But we didn't know that initially until after we ran out of the laundry conditioner, went to go buy some, and I kept looking through, kept reading the directions, and I just felt like it wasn't what we should buy. So then I ended up buying laundry detergent as well as laundry conditioner, and Joe and I had a good laugh that for about a month we were washing our clothes with fabric softener and not actual detergent. Oh gosh. Luckily, it was during the winter. It's not like we were all like sweaty and gross, and our clothes weren't too dirty, so it was still okay. Oh, man. Number 5, not knowing how the electric companies worked. I would probably have to say that this was the biggest mistake that we made, and the one that we were made aware of most recently. In the US, electric companies will come to your flat once a month and they will take a reading of the electricity that you've used. When we moved here, we assumed, wrongly, that it would be the same situation here. When we saw that we owed the same amount to the electric company month after month after month, we were a bit perplexed, but we didn't really question it. It was a low amount, and we were like, oh, awesome, great. We're not using that much heat, you know, we can use a little bit more and feel a little bit more comfortable, and perfect. Not so much. It turns out that here they do a reading once every 6 months or so. So you pay the average from that over the next 6 months. So when we were paying less than £50 a month here throughout the winter, we thought that that was what we currently owed. But it turns out that's what we owed for the summer when we weren't using as much heating, and we definitely weren't using as much electricity. For that reason, our bills have recently skyrocketed because of all the electricity that we used the past 6 months. Now, a good thing to know when you live here is that you can actually call the electric companies and get a reading yourself and give them the numbers, and they will give you an accurate amount that you'll owe. So I wish we were doing that the entire time. I wish we were calling them every single month, and just knowing what we use each month and how much it was would have given us a better way to see, okay, we used a little bit too much, we need to turn down the heat and just put on some more layers. Que sera, sera. It should kind of balance out now that we're heading into the summer months again, because in the summer we don't use as much heating, our electricity bill should be lower, so it should kind of balance out. At least that's what I'm telling myself to make myself feel better about the whole situation, because we definitely spent more money than we necessarily had to. So those are 5 mistakes that we made when moving to Scotland. I am sure that I can think of many more, but those are the ones that I felt like other people who are moving to the UK could benefit from knowing. And it could potentially save you a lot of money and some stress. So I hope this was helpful. And Eleanor Rigby says hi. Yeah. So I have a question for you guys. I want to know if you've made any mistakes when moving. Have you moved to a different country before? And what were some of the things that if you could go back and change, would you? So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you like this style of video more than my travel videos, where I'm kind of talking to you about my experiences These ones seem to get many more views than my videos where I'm showing you around different places that Joe and I have traveled, but I'd love your opinions. What other types of videos would you like to see? Please let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you really like this video and you want to see more of me, then please subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!